Welcome back. In the previous parts, we went to two separate towers. One over here in the west, one over here in the north. At some point, I'd been to this tower here in the past. I can't remember when, but
have you ever seen these stickers on my...
in those three locations, I found these tapes here. So we got the punch tape and the soaked punched tape. I thought, there's a north, west, and a south one. Clearly there's going to be one in the east, and I thought, oh, it'd be over here, right? I went over there wasn't a quest, so I investigated. Apparently, it's all to do with this guy down here, with this exclamation here. It's all connected to his quest, and I should have spoken to him first, probably. Oh well. Oh well. What do I do? Huh? Are you okay, sighing so sadly alone by the water like that? Did something bad happen? Yes, and it wasn't any old something bad, but something awful. Apologies. I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Broglie, and I'm an entry-level researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute, and I was previously responsible for monitoring Fontaine's hydrology data. What's hydrology data? Simply put, it is all the data related to the various properties of water. For example, there's the temperature of various water layers, water level, rates of current flow and evaporation within set times, concentration of dissolved impurities. Whoa, that all sounds really complicated, does it? Just data, Paimon. It is, that's why people are needed. Specifically my colleagues and I, to collect this complex data and make observations so that we can detect changes in the water quality in advance. If no one does this work, by the time we discover a huge problem, it'll be too late to address it. Sensible? Sensible. You know, that's one of the reasons those lovely Oceanids left Fontaine. There was a change in the water quality that made it unsuitable for them to live in. That's not what I heard. Well, that's what I was told during my induction training. Probably to rouse a semblance of personal responsibility in us. The point is, monitoring the hydrology data is pretty important work. For instance, if a change in water quality nears the minimum coefficient, it could make the taste less smooth and refreshing. What, that's all? Well, that's what makes it the minimum coefficient, right? But if things go out of hand, what, will the water turn into Fanta? No, it would probably just lead to a mass extinction event all over Fontaine. Sounds like scaremongering to me. Wait a minute. Does that mean you're sighing here by yourself because something terrible has happened to the water? Oh, not at all. It's just that the monitoring data I gathered has sunk to the bottom along with the observation station, and I don't know how I can fish them back out. Oh, so maybe this was the South Quest. And that's what got me so worried, so I already got the South Quest done before I picked it up, maybe? The observation station too? Yes, I imagine you've heard about that awful lab accident from before. Oh, not really, no. You know, the one that blew the central laboratory sky high. I hope to learn about that in detail. As ill luck would have it, the lab accident also sunk the hydrology observation station here. Fortunately, my colleagues and I were doing a study somewhere else at the time, so we weren't hurt. Well, that's good, that's good. But the years of hydrology monitoring data we've collected are all still down there. I don't know about that, mate. That does sound quite serious. We'll take care of it. Really? Oh, kind sir, if you can help me, I'll be in your debt for the rest of my life. You should know that ever since the observation station sank, the former departments had to be reorganized, and I was transferred to the newly established Department of Hydrology and Aquatic Life Conservation. And not only is the department head breathing down my neck all day, but there are all these new inexplicable rules. We have to report for duty on time, and we still have to make this weekly report at the end of each week. Can't even openly take our afternoon naps in the office anymore. Oh dear! You need your afternoon naps? Even worse, there's a woman who keeps a blubber beast in the office. A blubber beast! It's bitten me 3 times already. So if our research data from before can be retrieved, I'll be able to think of a way to persuade my supervisor to restore the hydrology monitoring department. That way, my colleagues and I can also be transferred back to our original posts and return to our happy lives of ease. Question mark. I mean, returning to fulfilling lives of field studies. So after all that, you just want to slack off, don't you? Yeah, well, why don't you just go down there and get the stuff yourself? Well, this is embarrassing, but even though the Fontaine Research Institute did organize diving training sessions, we strategically held a dinner each time. Oh, this is your own fault. I mean, every diving training session conflicted with the dinner reservations we'd already made at Hotel de Board. What a shame. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, the advancement of the science of hydrology and the future of Fontaine are in your hands, kind sir. As for your reward, worry not. As long as you can help me to cover my research, I'll do everything in my power to ensure you're adequately compensated. So I'm begging you, please help me retrieve our previous data from the central control room. Is this what you wanted? Oh, that'll be the one I got underwater. Ah, yes, this is it, but you haven't even gone into the water yet. How do you already have the data? I like they account for this, the fact I'd already been there. This is why I was confused I had it, because I can't remember a quest, because every time I accidentally stumble into a quest, maybe it triggers, maybe it starts an event, I'll record or just save it for later, like I did with the previous two. So that's why I was confused how I had one. It was like, I haven't done the quest. I would have waited, would have stopped, and then recorded it. That's what we're doing in the Fontaine stuff. That's the new approach. We're going to have a look at all the quests. So I was very confused. Because I was going to do this one at a later date, thinking it was a separate thing. Nope. We've been to the place before. Nah, I like magic. Come on, it wasn't magic. We just happened to go there by chance previously. Yeah. I see, thank you. That's all the data from this station now recovered. Oh, that's good. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say this station? Yes, we have 3 observation stations and 1 central processing station in total. Oh, that'd be what that other one is. Each with their own independent datasets. So in order to convey the need for monitoring to my supervisor, the data from the remaining 2 stations still needs to be recovered and then analyzed at the central processing station. Well, we'll go in there, aren't we? Alright, Paimon will buy. Do you also need us to salvage the other 2 stations? Which we have done. Oh, of course not. The other 2 observation stations were spared from the lab disaster and continue to stand proudly on solid ground. That's a relief. It's just that the 2 stations have been taken over by some fellows from Shneznaya. I don't know about that anymore. From Shneznaya? Hang on. You're not talking about the Fatui, are you? That's them. They claim that they got permission from the Maison Gestion to take over the stations. They won't let us anywhere near them, let alone retrieve the data. As for the Maison Gestion, as you may know, verifying anything with the Maison Gestion is harder than trying to catch lightning in a bottle. It can be done. It sounds like it's a little suspicious. Yeah, since it's the Fatui we're talking about, they might actually be planning to use the observation stations to do something bad. Paimon doesn't super want to help, but Twitter, we should take a look just in case. We have, Paimon. You were there. Were you there? I'm not sure now. Thank you so much, kind sir. I'll mark the locations of the Pâté de Fruit station and the Crepes Suzette station on your map now. Aren't these all food names? Yeah, I thought you'd notice. Yes, and they do sound sweet and tasty, don't they? Crepes do. Crepes do. Just the way life ought to be. Fancy some ice cream and crepes. If only there was a store around that sold them. Anyway. By the way, this place is the Conch Madeleine station. Imagine, if you would, breaking off a small piece of the Conch Madeleine, steeping it in warm water or tisane, and drinking it all up. That's what our tea times were like before. I never thought the station would end up sinking like this. Anyway, for me to be happy and free again, I mean, for scientific advancement and the future of humanity, I'm counting on you to help me recover that old monitoring data. Huh? Wait a minute. Now that Paimon's looking at these locations, it seems like we've already been to them before. Again, I love they account for this stuff. Huh? Really? We've already sent those Fatui running for the hills. And we already have the data you're looking for. You show Broglie the paper tapes you got earlier. Ah, yes, this is it, this is it. You two are angels, angels sent from the heavens to save me from my misery and return me to my happy life of ease. Hey, what about all that science stuff? Anyway, there's no time to lose, kind sir. Please come with me to the Fontaine Research Institute to find my supervisor and request the key to the central processing station. Let's do that then. Oh, so we did south. Right, so we'll count that as finishing south, I guess, because that's what completed. That's what I just did, apparently. You right there? Oh, we'll have that. Don't exactly need them, really. But yeah, so the tower is down here, in case you're wondering, like down there. It does make sense. It really does. I just thought it was a tower you were meant to explore. And I just got something random from it at some point. Again, had the quest opened up. I would have done that instead. And just waited and shown you guys. But yeah, I went into the tower at some point and then I assume went up there with similar techniques that we had in the previous towers. I'm not sure though. Right, so that's what's going to be done with this part because we've apparently just done south. And we need to do... I was going to say like east, but it's not east, it's just in search of lost time. Right, well, we'll see about that in the next part. Ta-da for now.